It's a very difficult question.
No, it is a difficult question.
No, it's very simple. You see, this, when once you come into a state of being like this, you'll be surprised that the images we have of peace, happiness, bliss, love, and all these things are not there at all. You see, there is
different.
There are no words to describe this state of being at all, because there is nobody who is aware of this state and says that it is happiness, that this is love, that this is peace, that this is... And so it's...
Si c'est quelque chose de nouveau, il n'y a certainement pas de mot existant pour le décrire, ça c'est certain.
So in order to communicate to somebody, you have to use a word. Okay. When you use a word, he doesn't understand, because there is no word to describe this state.
C'est ça, oui, c'est ça.
The words, the thought cannot penetrate into this at all. And when the thought cannot penetrate into this and look at this state, there is no word with which one can describe this state of being. And so, if you talk of love, you have to qualify this statement, as Krishnaji does. Love is not this, not that, not that, not that, not that, and then what it is. And you also have to, by negative process, you have come to a point where you have to negate the negative approach also. It is very difficult. You come to a point brushing aside everything, yes. And even then, you see, even that has to be brushed aside again. You have to negate even that, yes. Even that. And that is the thing which one cannot do at all. You see, there is once you come to that point, there is something else. You see, if you are lucky, somehow you see, yes. You get out of that structure and you are once and for all free.
And are you very excited?
Not now. Now it's better. You see, I don't feel like talking to people, because the talking is not going to help them at all.
Yes, that's right.
At all. And those who come here usually are full of Krishnamurti's ideas. Yes. And I can't say that it is nonsense, because, you see, I followed that path up to a point. Mm-hmm. And then, you see, I had to take a leap on from there on. And so along with my whole past, my Hindu background, my religious background, I lived with the monks, I practiced all kinds of meditation, and all that, and all my past includes Krishnamurti also, and so that also is kept aside. Mm-hmm. So I cannot use those phrases at all, and when they use those phrases, I have to tell them that you are just repeating what he is saying there. It is not something real, it's not something vital, and they don't understand that at all. And the difficulty is to make them understand that there is a state, the nature of which they don't know at all. You don't know at all. You listen to Krishnamurti's talks there, you see, and he goes into it in detail. It's what we call casuistry. But you project an image.
Yes.
And he also gives the hints that it is bliss, that this is immeasurable, immense state of whatever you want to use, and that creates an image in the minds of the people. But actually, when once this structure inside of you somehow, by some luck or by some chance or by grace of whom I don't know, collapses, you find yourself, you see, in a state where you have no words to describe this state at all. Mm-hmm. So the only thing I can do is to describe this state, that there is such a thing, you see, that there is a state like this, and that's the only way to live. The way the people live is absurd. They are not living the life at all. Because for the first time, the life has an opportunity to express itself, untrammeled by any... I have some difficulty to... by any impediments. It flows very freely, and the senses operate in an extraordinarily sensitive way. For the first time, you begin to live the life. Yes. All right, the next question is, I want it. Yes, this is marvelous, it sounds marvelous, but So how can you want a thing that you don't know?
But it arrived suddenly.
Yes, it comes, it hits you like you see a lightning.
Yes.
And then you see the loosening process, the whole thing is shattered, and you find yourself a different person. You are a baby.
C'est ça, c'est comme ça qu'il y a un court-circuit.
Everything you look at is different, and every your senses operate in a different way. The eyes are different, and you look more, and
the relations are
the relations, everything is gone completely, totally. There is no relationship at all. What is the relationship? She is here all the time. I look at her, I don't know who she is even. You see, if I want to, of course, the information is there. You are as innocent as a baby, but all the wisdom of the ages is there. If there is a need, the situation demands the use of this knowledge. You see, I knew that you would be here at 3 o'clock, and I thought perhaps you would have some difficulty, and so I was there waiting for you. When I see you, I recognize you, and that's finished. You see, and you are sitting there, and then who you are, I don't know. You see, but at the same time, if there is a need, you see, the memory is there available for me all the time. We met last year, we had lunch here. When I was there with you that day, you see, I
remember the lunch because it was very good. It was so good that I tell that to Krishnaji. I tell to Krishnaji, oh, I have a nice Indian meat.
And
Krishnaji asked me,
tous les petits citrons.
Pickles.
The
lunch. At your place, it was a beautiful lunch too, but he was not well.
I was going through all these changes at the time when I was
when
with
he came at your place, I remember, he just started this change.
C'est ça.
He just started, and then it went on during the months.
Ça commençait à ce moment-là.
Oui, ça avait justement commencé. C'était tout au début.
Tout au début.
Il est venu chez nous à ce moment-là.
Alors après, je crois qu'il n'est plus sorti du tout depuis ce
Non,
moment-là.
je ne vous ai pas vu après.
Non.
Nous sommes partis.
Vous êtes parti, mais il n'est plus sorti du tout parce qu'alors ça s'est vraiment précipité.
Bah oui, bien sûr.
You suffer much at this time?
Not now, no.
No, but before.
Yes. And
Terrible?
for 6 months, 3 months, I never moved out of my room. I stayed in France for 1.5 months and confined to my room. I didn't go out at all.
Un malaise général ou bien une douleur centralisée, enfin une douleur situable?
And the whole
In
thing.
the head or in the...
Oh, pain, terrible pain.
I know.
Pain.
Vous savez quand j'avais ma tête.
You see, every cell in the brain changes.
Oui.
Terrible. I suffered from this pain for almost 1 year.
The people that have not terrible headache don't understand what is a terrible headache.
This is not a headache. Something terrible for one full. I didn't know what it was. I was swallowing aspirin tablets. All over the head. I didn't have my head for years. For 1 full year, the whole head was missing all the time except the pain in the head. I didn't know what it was, and till this happened, you see. And then also for swellings all over here. The Hindus describe that there is a lotus here and this thousand petal lotus. You know,
Yes.
every muscle here swelling all over, and two big.
I understand very well that, you know. Very well. I have lived that.
Terrible
Long
pain.
times ago.
Terrible pain in the head and all over the body, and swellings all over the glands, what they call chakras, you know, in India. But the swelling here, here. I still have this, you know, the colors. And I don't know if you can see this color.
Oui, ça a changé.
Oui, c'est ça.
You see here, this
C'est ce changement.
and blue color all over the body in different
Blue
colors.
like Shiva.
Yes, right. And then you see this, the lotus. It's not, I don't know if you can see that. Perhaps in the mirror you can see
D'ailleurs, je trouve qu'il
this lotus.
a un air plus rajeuni que l'année dernière. Je trouve plus
You
jeune.
will say that you look younger than last year.
Yeah.
See?
Yes.
I'm 1 year older.
No, you know always young.
I'm 51 years old now.
51.
Yes.
I am older than you.
Elle est très
53.
jeune.
You're very young.
I am 53.
63.
Well, I'm an old lady.
63.
63.
It is no importance.
No, it's
No,
not important.
Because there are very old people that are younger than young people.
Oh oui, ça bien sûr.
So I tell those who come here, you see, not all these details. They don't, they exaggerate.
Have you seen Krishnaji?
No. I haven't seen him. I don't have the feeling to see him. Although I've known him for a long time. I don't even know if he remembers me, but I haven't seen him. There is no need for me to see him. Well, what is the need for me to see him? I don't see him. There is nothing to talk. Maybe perhaps he'll be interested in how he got into that state. He may not even remember. But maybe he'll be interested. You know, I brushed aside all the descriptions that I read in the Hindu books as nothing worthless. But when it happened to me, I didn't even know. I didn't remember this could be a chakra, but the swellings in the body, they're all after all glands. You know, whether you call them a gland or a chakra, it's of no importance. There are ever so many dormant glands in our body, and all of a sudden they are activated. And the whole human body has flowered into something, into a beautiful flower. That's all. If human evolution has any purpose, I think the purpose of human evolution is to flower into a real human being for the first time. And the whole brain has undergone a transformation. There is no animal content in the brain anymore at all. The animal cravings has completely disappeared once and for all. And life expresses itself in an extraordinarily I don't even have the word. It expresses itself in its own way for the first time. Because you are the movement of the life. You are the life itself, and that life is a creative thing. It is the same thing that is there. The creative energy there is the creative energy here. This energy, nobody would understand when he uses the word energy. How many people understand that they have no idea of this energy at all? It's impossible for the mind to understand what this energy is that is in operation. This is the same creative energy. It's not that I'm going to create another universe like that, but the same thing is in the body. It has a different quality now. It has a different quality. Describing the state of being in inadequate terms doesn't communicate anything, and I have to tell them that there are no answers to the questions at all. And what happens? The questioner disappears. There are no questions of any kind at all. I don't ask any questions. And if somebody asks me questions, why does he ask these questions? These questions have no answers at all. Why are they concerned about these questions? And the next thing to tell them is that somehow, you see, the momentum of thought must come to an end inside of them. And the momentum of thought is not an ordinary thing. Millions and millions of years of momentum is there. And how can one bring the momentum of thought to an end? There is no how. But somehow, somewhere we have to begin the loosening process.
But before this transformation, you don't want to go to India.
I don't want to go to India at all.
And you go?
I went there last year, and I want to go to India and spend there some time. Sometimes I feel that maybe it's worthwhile to live amongst these young people. I have quite a number of them around me. it must happen to somebody in the West. Unfortunately, this kind of a thing happens to only Indians. Why Indians? It must happen to somebody in the West, and perhaps he will come out with a different mode of expression. But there is one difficulty, you see. The very culture, the very culture stands in the way of understanding the nature of this thing. Because you see, the stress is on the eye. The eye is very important. The strengthening of the eye. Eye is a very important factor
not for mystical people.
Not for the mystical people. Not for the mystical people. But mystical experience is still within the field of thought.
Yes.
So when the mind catches this experience, it is of no value at all, because it's mystical experience of...
It is not a mystical experience.
This is not a mystical experience at all. The thought is not involved.
An image, an illusion.
An illusion, mystical experience. The so-called religious experiences also are illusions. This is no experience at all.
But
because there is no experiencer who catches this experience. There is only an experiencing. Experiencing without an experiencer is a thing very difficult for the mind to understand. This experience is of the senses. They are extraordinarily sensitive. Whatever you look, whatever you see is experienced by the senses, and then there is no residue left. It's no accumulation at all. So every time I look at something, it's as if I'm looking at it for the first time in my life. When I wake up in the morning, I wake up as if I'm waking up for the first time in my life.
Qu'est-ce qu'on entend ici? C'est le train.
Oui, j'ai dit ça.
Yeah.
J'ai dit sur le fort de boue. Quelquefois, il y a une scie à boire. Je crois que c'est une scie à boire.
What is it?
Le saw for the...
Yes, wood cutting. Electric saw. The weather is changing again. For 1 week, it's so good. And
C'était trop beau.
Heureusement que vous avez eu encore cette semaine, parce que c'était terrible.
Vous savez, maintenant, on va voir.
Maintenant, vous avez encore des mois et des mois.
Krishnaji will be back in Europe in March.
What do you say?
Krishnaji will be back in Europe in March.
Yes, in March in England, and in April in Paris.
Oh, April in Paris. Is he going to Amsterdam? No.
Ici, soumis la pièce. C'est in Amsterdam in May. And afterwards in Stern, and afterwards in September in Roma.
And then he goes to India, I understand?
He don't go to India this year.
Next year.
But it seems to me that this year
Yes.
it shall be
Most of the time I'm here. Now the weather improves, perhaps I'll take walks to the start.
But you do long walks.
Yes, I do take long. And I'm doing yoga every day here, 1.5 hours in the morning.
You work with krishnamurti.
Yes, and this Kachari also.
He's nice.
Oh, he's a great teacher. As a teacher, this Kachari is just great.
I work with Iyengar.
And he was here this year, I understand.
Yes.
But he's very rough with the people, no? No?
Not with me.
D'abord.
No?
He's not rough with me and not...
Il a changé.
Oh oui.
Ça dépend avec qui. Ça dépend
Avec
qui.
nous, tout
Mais he's not rough, and when I work with him and he speaks non, très doucement, très bas.
Not loud.
Not loud.
Non. Il a changé beaucoup, je trouve, avec vous.
Avec moi, beaucoup.
He has changed his way of teaching.
Pas avec tout le monde.
With
Mais with me,
Oui.
book, but it is not well to do.
No.
The yoga it is not with a book.
No.
It is different.
The fundamentals you must learn from some teacher.
Yes.
And then perhaps it will be helpful.
Yes. When you work with yoga, you can read the book, but the book without the teacher first, it is not good. And you do much yoga?
No, but breathing, as I told you,
Oui.
only 1 or 2 postures, headstand and shoulder stand.
Half an hour?
15 minutes.
15.
And breathing for 40 minutes I do. And throughout I do breathing.
Mm.
That's very, you see, the interesting thing is, when once you get into this state, you discover for yourself the origin of many of these postures.
Yes.
You know, sometimes I go into a peculiar state, what the Hindus call is the nirvikalpa samadhi,
Yes.
a complete total death for all practical purposes, except that the signs of life are there.
Mm.
When I come out of that, the body is so stiff, and it begins peculiar kind of bendings. You know, the body is the body has to get into its normal rhythm, and so many of these yoga postures, the body assumes these postures by itself, unvolitional. I don't do anything; it's just they start moving, and even the basis of the Hindu namaste.
Yes.
You see, the hands by magnetic force, as it were, they come together and stick here for a long time. And similarly, the breathing also. The breathing also is part of that. It's something natural to me. And in fact, most of the day I do pranayama, not although I do it every day for about half an hour, 40 minutes in the morning. When I go for a walk, you see, the breathing is going on. It has a different rhythm now inside of me. When I see something extraordinarily beautiful there, then there is this, I become aware of the beauty of the mountains or the sunset, or because I take a deep breath.
Yes.
It's a breathtaking view, and from that I become aware that there is something extraordinarily beautiful around me. I don't call anything beautiful. From the time I start in sun until I reach, the breathing process is going on all the time for different reasons. And it is a very interesting thing to discover for yourself the origin of many of these yoga postures. That is perhaps the origin, and they make it so technical, and it's by practicing yoga you are not going to get there at all. If you are in that state, then perhaps it's easy for you to teach yoga.
Yes. Vous en faites, madame, un peu?
Non, j'en fais pas assez. Moi, je devrais en faire.
Oui, vous devriez.
Surtout la respiration.
Et alors,
Tu vas douce au yoga. J'en ai fait un peu, mais c'est assez longtemps.
c'est important, vous savez, la
Oui,
respiration.
je suis
C'est d'abord
certaine,
pour le
oui, c'est
silence,
très
pour le
important.
calme. Et puis, se mettre sur la tête, c'est aussi très important,
Oui.
parce que c'est la seule...
In certain, I think you can tell that you do yoga. Sometimes you do it without even to know exactly what you... I mean, you get in these states in the
Yes.
midst of the yoga.
Yes, because I have no body consciousness at all, any time of the day or night. When I stand on my head, I forget that. You see, sometimes I go on for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then suddenly I realize...
You fall down?
No, fall down. Then you see, I come down. You see. I forget to count the breaths. Sometimes I do 16 breaths.
Yes.
Suddenly I forget the number. And then I go on. So I have no feeling of the weight of my body at all when I stand on my head. It's like a rubber doll.
Il faut qu'il prenne 50 minutes.
Tomorrow morning?
I leave tomorrow morning.
Go straight to the clinic?
I go straight to the clinic.
But you are supposed to stay there the whole week.
Well, they may want me to stay more than a week,
Oh.
but it's expensive, and I hope to make it only a week and extract myself from the clinic.
You're planning to be back here?
Yes, I have to. I have nowhere else to go. So
How long?
then I will stay till the end of September.
We'll have time to meet.
Yes, you will be here too.
Yes, yes. I'll be here till the end of October.
Oh, really? That's long. Yes.
He has 2 months time to write and put in order.
Put him in order. Get rid of his
To see you people fly, I have to...
It doesn't matter. We'll arrange things in such a way that we will all meet in Bombay.
Yes, we'll all
You
meet.
worry about
Bombay.
it.
Yeah.
That's where the boat
We will
comes.
not leave you high and dry.
Yes, I don't know.
India is a big
Maharshi.
country and
We give
very
you an address in Bombay.
hospitable country. And
Oh, yes, I
you will not be
am
lost.
very glad to miss another winter.
It's a very easy country.
It's a very easy country.
Oh, I'd
you like
love
that
to
country.
go.
Have you been there?
Never. I was on the point of going when I got jaundice.
Oh,
Now that the
But if you
joint
say-
is healed,
Well, now listen. I got it. It will be exactly 3 years in October. And this is like the climax, going to the Birka clinic. I know what they're going to tell me. Physically, I'm normal. I know that.
and
They're going to find the biochemical picture is all right.
All right.
They're going to say, here's the diet. There are one or two things, very minor things that you shouldn't eat, and that's what's been disturbing your intestine. That they're going to say, if you stick to this for 6 months or so, everything will be all right. But don't run around. I've been running around too much. Go to one place and stay there. That's what they're going to say. I know it. And they might. What I want to know is, can I go to India? Can I go to
With your
places
books.
like that?
So why not? If you, it's not that bad. You have
no,
a very-
I don't know really. I
No.
don't talk to Priscilla. I don't really know how these people have all come to such grief.
No, I think
Or
you
I
will
was
enjoy your
completely
visit.
wasted.
Hell, you will like that.
Yeah.
It's not an expensive trip, and if you don't have
I would
anything,
love it.
well, why not?
I would love it.
It's really, it's not difficult at all.
No.
Just a little
No.
sensible.
That's all.
That's all.
Mm.
I don't regard it as a hazard at all.
No, you see,
Mm.
Bombay is like New York. It's a big city,
Yes.
and you have all the comforts there.
Yes. But do you take inoculations?
Yeah,
You
better.
have to take the
Better.
inoculation.
Only the smallpox. That's all.
Smallpox and cholera.
are required.
Cholera, yeah.
Not to enter
Yes,
India, but
cholera.
to re-enter
I
Europe.
never take cholera.
Or not to enter India?
Nothing is required.
Really?
They have it all there waiting for you.
You don't need it, but
But the
You're
cholera?
advised by the
But
airline.
it's not mandatory or obligatory.
But
or
not
No.
cholera. You talk to any doctors because the strains of cholera are probably different from the inoculations. In the Hospital for Tropical Diseases in London, I met a fine young doctor, and he said, look here, I'll give you a poke, but please don't bother and don't come back, because the strain that we've got is entirely different from what is prevalent in India.
That's incredible.
How to avoid cholera then?
No cholera.
Don't-
She was awfully frightened, you know.
Yes.
Hmm?
And so
No,
she was all right.
You don't
to
know.
re-enter Europe, you need it, and then
You know, this is only...
the airlines sell these health certificates. And so just for $3.
I never knew that.
Well,
Really?
Airlines.
You know what,
Really?
Airlines do that.
yes. In Bombay, I went to Cox and Kings and I didn't want to have a revaccination. You see, I said, what can I do about this? So the assistant manager said, I'll take you. So he took me around the corner to a doctor, and we didn't say anything. You see, nothing was said. So he swabbed the arm. So, but anyhow, nothing. But do you know that I went back to Sholapur, and in the bungalow where I stayed, there was a smallpox suspect.
But you have one.
So the doctor looked at my certificate and said, fine, just be
Fine, just
vaccinated.
Just fine.
I don't know. Look here, you're going to die somewhere. I mean, you can.
No, you're not going to die in India, we assure you.
Oh, no.
And even if...
Because listen, if Priscilla told me what she did, and I think it was very foolish.
What did she do?
Well, she went up to Assam, and they came back in an open jeep late at night down that deep valley, you know, and she didn't have enough on, and she got a chill, and then she went on to Madras, flew on to Madras in spite of it, and went to, and dragged herself around and went to the talks, caught another cold.
Well, how would you get jaundice?
Well,
By running
in
down.
this sort of condition, there was an infection about
No.
Yeah, if you run down.
Yeah, you need to be under no uneasiness. It is a really an interesting country to visit.
Very.
And
How about clothes? You don't need to buy to take there. You get them all there. The quality is good enough.
very cheap.
It's cheap
This
and
one,
beautiful.
$3.
Yes. I had this same
Yeah,
$3, yes.
You have friends.
Huh?
You have connections.
No.
So do you, you know.
No.
We'll take you there.
You arrange for your stay 6 months, wherever you want.
That's good.
Yes, if
Just
you
come
want
as
to
I
come.
am then. Fine.
Just as I am without one plea.
It's not difficult.
What?
Just as I am without one plea.
Really?
You can
Pullovers you need.
if you are ready to walk in a lion cloth,
This would be my 10th.
Yes, I get a cloth.
why not a lion cloth? You will be welcome, most welcome.
Oh, I like that.
Well, why don't you go in the other
Because I
direction?
know I'm going to
California.
I have to.
California, here I come.
That's it. I have to now, but I think, you see, facing the east from California, I'm not going to stay in America. I'm just going
You
there.
have to stay there till something happens to California. Save
That's
it from
right.
drowning.
I'm going to save it from sinking under the
Sinking
sea.
under the sea.
And then after I've saved it, I go east. I'm not going to spend any more time in cold climates. I'm finished with them.
I know, I think it does.
You too.
Huh?
You've had enough for...
I don't know.
Where will you?
Maybe it's somewhere in mountains.
Uh,
I can't stand the heat in India.
I know, it's too
You
much.
can't stay in the plains.
So
I
that's
don't
too
like
much.
the
You
heat
can't.
also.
In November, there's no heat?
No, it's
No,
nothing.
lovely.
Lovely.
November, December, January, February.
That's
Oh,
the best.
beautiful,
November.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Gorgeous.
yeah.
Anywhere.
Then the monsoons come.
There's not
Well,
that
I
much.
like
Cold. Nowhere except in the mountains or in Delhi, I suppose.
Delhi.
Even then in the daytime, you don't need woolen wear. In Madras, you don't need anything at all.
It's always warm.
Always
Madras is
hotter,
too
hot.
But me walking around in dhoti?
There, the biggest did that, a small jubba and a small piece of cloth.
You just wear white pajamas. Broad
And you'll be a very civilized man there.
That's
Because
right.
everybody else around you is in what kind of clothes? If at all they can afford to buy a clothes, it's a small piece of cloth.
Just like a napkin, you know. You just have a napkin.
They're not problems. You can sit under a tree and get stung by a scorpion one.
Gee,
Or a bird
you
can
know,
stick it.
when I came down from the mountains, that a man I met, you know, I thought, really, in a way, why go down? You see, the whole problem is solved. No problem of clothing, no problem of shelter, and very little of...
You don't have the problems of the three basic things in life. No problem of clothing, no problem of shelter, no problem of food. What else do you want? What else do you want? All your problems are
All your
solved.
problems
And then
are
heaven is assured for you there.
Yes.
He's worried about his love letters.
You can make a little money on that, I assure you. If
Oh,
as you
they
say you
told
have
them to
20
go.
kilos of love letters, they will buy them by weight.
By the way,
Oh, all these easels. I have 4 or 5 easels in oil colors and...
Sell them all in the
You can do that in India.
of course, this
Yes.
is seriously
You can
true.
take the whole junk with
Take them
you.
off to the
Anything from abroad.
Yes.
You see, there is a price.
Yes.
Anything, it doesn't matter even if you take 2 pieces of rags from England.
Really?
I'm not joking.
No, anything.
That's the mentality of the people
There you are.
So we spent 3 hours. He was here for 3 hours, and Mrs. Bohm also took part in the discussion. There were quite a number of people here.
And doesn't work.
Yes,
You're not doing it doesn't want.
No,
You're saying wrong.
slow. What is your tape recorder?
He is an intellectual man, but sometimes he is an attitude man also. And he seeks something.
Yeah.
And he's very open. It seems to me.
It was a long talk, but still it was a little short. You see, to see it just one time. And there were several persons together.
But you don't know him before.
No, I met him only once.
Only one time.
And his friend Brian Mason.
Mason is here?
Not this year, not this year.
He's a very nice
Very
man.
nice
I like
man.
very much him.
He is in, what is that place? Torres.
À Tourette-sur-Loup.
Oui, c'est ça.
I know. À Tourette-sur-Loup.
Saint-Denis and Torres, and not far from Nice.
Yes, c'est tout près de Nice. Vous savez, c'est là.
Ah oui, je viens ça.
J'ai passé mon enfance. Ma fille,
childhood there.
Oh, yes, it's a very beautiful place. Very
It
beautiful
is
place.
beautiful, this town. In Spain, it has not changed so much.
Oui.
No.
Both has changed, but
Not
not so
much because I am coming. I am coming with my husband, and I want to show him the house when I leave. And and I find the house, but it was changed. We live on the old house, and now it is flat. But and I see flats too low, and I knock at the door and I ask for the flat, and he comes and he sees. And I have found very easily. Yes.
C'est pas encore trop changé, je pense.
Not too much.
No, not so much. Simple,
Simple, little more, but all village no.
Good.
You
Not
know the
so much.
south of France?
Yes, we spent some days
We were
there.
in
Saint-Denis, not far from Torres.
You know, it shall be interesting for you to go to Malaga.
Si.
Because near Malaga, there is